So they're talking about peak oil, and Corbett is actually taking the outrageous position that um, there's no peak oil. They can create as much as they want, which is why they're investing billions, if not trillions, into um, Canadian oil sands that are barely able to produce a return, and they're you know drilling into the ground to try to shake free the last little bits and drops that they can find. But there's no possibility that we might run out. It's just all just a big scam. It is the case that nobody involved with the peak oil theory saw the technology of shale um, coming, and the time frames consequently need to be modified to account for different types of technology. But we're talking about, on the order of decades at the most. The fact that oil is a non-renewable energy source is not up for question unless you um, are willing to hop onto the abiotic oil theory that certain Soviet researchers were convinced of, and that the Russian government doesn't even take seriously anymore. Sure. On one hand, oil is just hydrocarbons, right? You'd think you could create something like it. Um, Certainly something like gas. It's a little easier said than done, though, right? But that said, it's sort of similar to the Luddite fallacy, right? Or the Luddite fallacy. Um, that's essentially his argument. Um, or another way to look at it is um, the Malthusian fallacy. Um, and what we're seeing is that technology keeps saving our asses. Um, we keep running into these situations, right? We're supposed to be overpopulated and not be able to feed ourselves, but then we come up with refrigeration, oil-based pesticides, and they let us produce just ridiculous amounts of food, right? Um, so we're able to adjust to this, incredible population curve by producing enough to meet it. But the truth is, it's really just bullshit luck. Um, Eventually, we're going to hit a carrying capacity, and our numbers are going to have to fall. Um, Pointing to the fact that we've been pretty good about technology so far doesn't change the inevitability of the carrying capacity. Pointing to the fact that we've been able to create new jobs doesn't, as technology has developed, doesn't eliminate the eventual necessity that technology will fuck us over, or will fuck capitalism over anyways. I think that the end result will be good. After we might have to go through a bit of a down period, but the end result of building our society around automation, that's a positive. Even if we have to deal with the collapse of the system that we're in now in order to adjust to that. And likewise, the fact that oil is non-renewable is something that we will eventually need to deal with. We might find, giant reserves in the Antarctic or something. And the, climate change that our use of fossil fuels is producing may even help us access those reserves. Okay, but eventually, whether it's next week or next century, we will run out of oil. Um, it's just a question of when, not a question of if, right? So I mean, this is the kind of thing that you know he, I said when I started this he was going to piss me off, and that's the kind of thing that's just like, why would you say that? How can you be that? Like you seem to be fairly well read about so many things. How could you be so ignorant about things that you expect most people have a decent understanding of? Um, you know, it's, well, it's not renewable. That's not a conspiracy. You'll have to deal with that at some point, whether you like it or not.